Hello and welcome to the Of Mouse and Men podcast. As always, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Angelo.
And today, guys, we're talking about Artemis Fowl.
The Disney Plus exclusive movie.
Yes, it was supposed
that
to
came
come
out
to
today.
theaters, but then Disney was like, no thank you. And so we moved it on to Disney Plus. And how'd you feel about it, Angelo? How was it?
So let's talk real quick. We're going to talk about non-spoiler for a few minutes, then we'll go full into spoilers. So we'll have timestamps if you're interested. Yeah. So, overall, Kevin, I did not like the movie. I got to be honest.
I agree.
I think it was kind of a mess.
I think it was nonsense. That's how I would describe it. Just a bunch of nonsense, and then me as the viewer watching some nonsense. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there were promising aspects. I think that it was like an interesting enough concept in the first like little bit of the movie. Yeah. But I think that it quickly kind of devolved, and it just the whole structure of the movie I thought was kind of a bit all over the place, especially the third act kind of it really you have like whiplash from going from different scenes and different like scenarios and different character motivations.
Yeah, I mean it was hard to follow as is, but then once I got like a grasp on what was happening, they introduced another character who really had nothing to do with anything, right? They just kept introducing a bunch of characters. Like, I liked the world, but it was just a mess because they didn't do enough to like explain what was happening, who anyone was.
I feel like they didn't introduce the world very well.
No, not at all. I was so confused. There were a few times I paused it and I had to go back because I was like, what are these people talking about? Because it sounds important.
And this is from people who have never read the books, so that's our perspective. But we were just
so this movie was supposed
confused.
The movie was supposed to come out a while ago, and then they postponed it. They were like, okay, it comes out in 2020. And then you had COVID, right? And then the movie was just like, Disney was like, let's just put it on Disney Plus. And for a movie, I'm more interested in what comes after, like what they were setting up, than like what the heck I just sat through. Like, it didn't make any sense most of the time, and it just kept going on. The acting was fine, but at times it was bad, like really bad. But it was like,
I think fine. The writing had a lot to do with that too. It's just the material wasn't great.
I completely agree. Like, the writing at times was just unbelievable. Like, characters said lines that felt like I don't even know how to describe it. Like, someone like wrote this down, and it's like Judi Dench had a line like right when she got she comes out of a ship, and she says this line. I forget what the line was.
Oh, I remember what you're talking about. Oh, top of the morning
to you. Top of the morning to you. Like, it's supposed to be like this epic intro, like epic line.
There were a few of those actually, if you pay attention. But actually, I can't believe the cast they have for this movie. Colin Farrell is Artemis Fowl Sr.
Yeah, right.
You got Judi Dench, you got Josh Gad.
Like they didn't read the script before they signed on.
I don't know what happened, to be honest.
The script it did seem choppy. I think it was heavily edited because it did seem choppy at times. And then I swear, sometimes they just put Olaf audio in for Josh Gad, like just out of nowhere. I swear, they just were like, "Oh, we're not gonna have him come in and say this line again, so let's just take something from Frozen."
I will say, Josh Gad's character, even though he was very confusing, and I don't think he was very like good as that characure.
No, he kind of reminded me of Jack.
Most enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, he kind of reminded me of Jack Sparrow in a way.
True.
He had like a Jack Sparrow-esque like attitude,
like knockoff Jack Sparrow.
And we'll talk. We're gonna talk spoilers a little bit later on.
Anything else before we talk spoilers? Do you think we should go into that, or do you think a little more time?
No. I think this movie, guys, listen, should you watch it? Probably not. No.
If you're a fan of the books, watch it. If you're not,
I don't even know.
I'd skip
Are the
this
books
one.
good? Because this wasn't. So it may disappoint you if you're a fan of the books. But honestly, look, if you're actually looking for something to do and like it's on Disney Plus, out of all the content on Disney Plus, if you've like seen most of it, this is probably fine. I definitely wouldn't say this is a theater, like I should go to see this in cinemas. Although some of the action sequences were well done. Although I didn't know it was happening most of the time.
Yeah, I liked some of the action.
Like I like how it was shot sometimes. Like it reminded me a lot of Kingsman, where like you have these basically like animated bodies kind of. And it was cool. But
yeah, so I think
I wouldn't highly recommend it. It's better. I will say it's better than A Wrinkle in Time.
I haven't seen A Wrinkle in Time.
Was terrible. It was the only movie in the theater I like audibly was like, what the hell? It was.
Have you ever walked out of a movie?
No, but I've almost walked out of 2 movies. One of them was A Wrinkle in Time.
What was the other one?
Captain Marvel.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't like Captain Marvel.
But
Talos, whatever his name was great in Captain Marvel. But this isn't a Captain Marvel. So yeah,
all right.
In conclusion, I would give this 1 duck out of 5.
What? What is this rating? I didn't know we were.
I didn't know we were doing a rating system either.
I'd give it 1.5 ducks.
Ooh, you're going that extra half.
Yeah, I think it was promising. I think there were aspects I was like, ah.
I agree. There was potential. Like this, like you know what? I had no idea what was happening, and at the end, I had no idea what was happening because it didn't answer any of the questions it set up. But I wanted to know the answers. I still want to know the answers to my questions. Like, what the heck is this? So I would continue watching if they answered my questions. So, like, I would be interested in where it went, but just answer some of the questions you set up. Like, it didn't make any sense, but yeah.
Yeah, so without further ado, let's talk spoilers,
Yeah,
Kevin.
let's get into this first.
In our spoiler cast.
So, this didn't make any sense, and I think we've just touched on that a little bit.
Yeah. Where should we start? Can we start with the end, to be honest? Because the third act is a mess.
So for a story that's really very simple, it's a simple MacGuffin storyline right there, something that everyone wants.
I don't know if I even understood that part.
It's a very simple story, but for such a simple story, it's mostly one location, which is the house of the Fowls. It's their house, right? They don't really leave it. Essentially, Home Alone. Right?
Yeah, we only see
house.
that, and we see the fairy world.
Right. And for a place with like one location, right, very basic, it was so complicated. It was needlessly complicated. Like, so I don't even know where to go with the end, Angelo, because he's a criminal mastermind, right?
Okay, let's start with the beginning then. I think the end was a bad idea, to be honest with you. So the movie starts, right? We're getting this narration. I think it was horribly done, a horrible idea to introduce this narration.
I don't know if it was an acting choice. I don't know if Branagh, the director, was like, this is what we're going to do. But why was everyone like talking like Batman in this movie? Everyone was growling. Judi Dench and Josh Gad.
They make a joke about that at one point, too.
I literally was like, thank you for pointing this out. Literally, Josh Gad opens. He's like, I'm going to go. Like, dude, I can't understand a word you're saying. It literally was like The Dark Knight. It was like, where is she? But like Josh Gad doing an impression. And then Judi Dench comes out and she's like, bah, bah, bah. Jesus, can somebody like stop growling for a second?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought, so we open with a narration. It's a little bit of a mess. We are introduced to 3 characters, Kevin. We're introduced to both Artemis Fowl, senior and junior, and then the butler, who doesn't like people to call him butler.
Right. This narration is kind of forced. Also, the opening was very serious. Like it seemed like a crime drama. You had like
the opening was like wild.
You had like the text come up like I felt like I was watching like a serious like drama, like an awards picture.
It gave me Spy Kids vibes, to be honest.
It was less fun Spy Kids. It was Spy Kids if you took all of the like energy and like likableness out of the kids and you put it into one kid who kind of was annoying.
So Yeah, so one of the oh my god, so talking about the main character, he was an asshole the whole movie.
Okay, first of all, I don't even think
Like,
he's a main character because it's the title of the movie. But honestly, no one gave like a poop about him. Like literally, who cared? He literally just said these snarky comments. He was
they
the
weren't
mind
even like
behind it
smart comments. I never got that he was like a really smart dude. I just got that he was like kind of an asshole.
And there's no way he planned this entire movie out. Because listen, didn't know what was going on, and I had all the pieces together. This kid had like 2% of the pieces together, and he was able to figure out what's going on. Okay, movie, you tell me it's part of his plan, but like, what the hell is his plan? Every 2 seconds,
I don't know.
they're like, "Oh, Artemis Fowl's a genius. It's part of his plan."
None of the plans were that good either.
Right? Okay.
Like all the plans would have been beaten in any other movie.
There's all this,
but there's nothing that was clever.
There's all this lore behind it that I don't know if they just didn't set it up. I don't know how fairies work. Is it a thing that fairies can't go in your house unless they get permission? I thought that was a vampire
I
thing.
thought the whole introduction to the fairy world was really weird and bad, especially when you introduce the movie as here's this crime, whatever nonsense, and then here's this magical world.
It literally, it's like this fairy, like, it was interesting. Like, I thought the world they set up was interesting. And if these fairies could stop time and literally cure people of death, how can they not get into a house that a 12-year-old is holding another person hostage in?
I wish I could tell you.
They had their entire army, and then he and his butler beat their entire army in 2 seconds. Can we also talk about how what was happening with this villain? What was even this villain's name? Like,
couldn't tell you.
it was, but like, were they not the villain? Because they set up like, we're coming after you, and I was like, so what's the point of this movie? Like, nothing really happened other than he saved his father in the most convoluted nonsense way ever, because they got the MacGuffin at the end. What is it called?
So
the Artemis
Artemis something. The issue is, right?
Yeah.
The issue is the third act. I didn't understand why characters were doing what they were doing.
Exactly. Why did they all team up at the end?
There was no reason for them to team up. So Artemis lets Holly out. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you.
I don't know why.
I genuinely, if you had a gun to my head,
that's what I thought.
I couldn't tell you. Is that why?
I think so. He took off his glasses because he's like, I want to look you in the eyes. Like, you want to get the like tension between them. I don't know.
I don't think that was what has happened.
There was some weird tension between her and Josh Gad in the beginning. That was really weird. That he was like, it was weird.
I don't know if I saw that. I saw them more as like, oh, we're buddies.
I felt that, and I was like, wait, isn't she a kid? And then Judi Dench just came
That's
in growling.
not what I meant.
There was
okay.
So
guy. Judi.
Okay, go on.
No. What guy? What are you talking about?
The like half horse, like genius tech guy.
Oh, the centaur, dude. That was so weird.
I was like, why is there one half horse person in the fairy world? And then there's goblins? I thought this was the fairy world.
Oh my god, remember when Josh Gad murdered a goblin?
Right? He didn't murder him, he just blew up his head.
That was murder, Kevin. I don't know what to tell you.
And then Josh Gad has this thing where he opens his mouth and then like eats dirt.
That was
and, like,
I just
shits it
looked
out.
away.
Like, what is happening? Also, was he the only person who could do this? Like, because he wasn't.
It was all the dwarfs,
he
right?
wasn't the only dwarf, but why'd they single him out? And it doesn't. Okay, it doesn't make.
He was like
sense.
a tall dwarf.
Artemis Fowl knew that they were gonna have to get a dwarf because fairies couldn't come inside his house for some strange fairy reason. For fairy reasons, they couldn't come into his house. So they had to get a dwarf guy. So he knew they would get a dwarf guy to do it. Unlike any other beast, they could get literally any other. They could have gotten a goblin for all he knew. But he knew they were gonna get a dwarf, and dwarfs seek out treasure or something because of dwarf lore or whatever. And so he knew that would take him to the MacGuffin of the story.
The MacGuffin of the story, I still don't understand what it does.
What is it? I don't know. It saved his dad? And why did everyone want it? And they were trying to keep it... So Artemis's dad had it because he had to keep it out of the hands of the fairies. But they just gave it to the fairies at the end?
Yeah, but then the Holly's dad got it too, and then there's a list of people who wanted it, who she's gonna hunt down.
They're all gonna hunt down, apparently. They're all criminals, apparently. Like, what?
I don't understand the whole criminal mastermind thing.
And also, why did the butler
I just didn't get it.
Why did the butler get his niece involved in all of this?
I didn't understand why that character was in the movie, Kevin.
He didn't need to be in the movie. I was done with this movie introducing characters, and they introduced this random girl. And I'm like, what does she have to do with this?
I don't think did she do anything in the movie?
No, and then
she wasn't even like. Was she even there when like the butler was dying? It was his niece, right?
No, she was. Yeah, she wasn't there when he was dying. No, and also
that was weird that he was dying. I was like, whoa, he's actually dying right here. I'm like, whoa, wait, he's actually dying, and then I was like, okay, but they didn't save him from death, Kevin. They brought him back. It was wild
with a rainbow. She had like rainbow powers. But
I am so confused, dude. I genuinely don't know why they teamed up at the end. Like,
I don't know either.
They were enemies 3 seconds before.
They were,
and then they're like, all right, we're chill.
Also,
because is it the troll?
Does Josh Gad work for Artemis Fowl now?
I genuinely didn't. I'm sure. Listen, I'm sure the books make sense. I'm sure the books are great and they actually explain it.
I mean, they made it
because some of the stuff I've seen from fans is like, oh, this is terrible. But, like, this movie doesn't make any sense. And I don't understand why anything happened, pretty much.
I don't understand why anyone's motivations made no sense. Artemis Fowl was this puppet master who, like, thought this all through. And he's so unsympathetic because he doesn't struggle at all. He just, like... is there.
I think Artemis Fowl is like not. He's like mean.
He's not even a character, really. His character is there.
I don't think anybody had like an actual character arc that made sense.
So what I thought, like going through the movie until it became, I was like, okay, this isn't it. But I thought Artemis Fowl was the MacGuffin that they wanted, the Ajava, whatever it was. I thought Artemis Fowl was that, and that was like the point. Like the father hid it or something, right? And he was the one that was going to, like, take out the fairies or whatever. No, that wasn't it. It was an actual thing that was hidden in a safe.
I still don't understand. So the fairies are good, but there's that evil fairy, dude. But the fairies wanted the thing.
Who was that? And why did that person capture the father to kill him? Because look, why did that person want Artemis Fowl to bring them the MacGuffin thing, the Ajava, whatever it's called? Why did he want him to bring that if that was what set his father free? Because didn't that person know if they have that, they could just set him free at any time?
These are good questions.
I mean, it doesn't... It's like, and I'm looking through the characters right now, and his mom is in the character list.
His Artemis Fowl's mom?
Yeah. Angelo
was she in the
Fowl.
movie?
Nah.
Nah.
She was not.
Nah, she was not
Fowl.
in the movie?
No.
Are we sure, Kevin?
And Judi Dench, I admire.
She probably shows up in like a picture.
Oh, maybe. But why would she be on the... Ugh.
Kevin,
Maybe
I
they'll
wish
make
I
this
could
into a
tell
TV
you.
show. But there's too much high-profile people in this movie to make a... Like, Josh Gad wouldn't come for a TV show. Unless it's Central Park, where he does the voice. But, I mean... I don't know, dude. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what this is. Because who is this for? Because kids aren't going to be into this, because it doesn't make any sense, right? They might be like, ooh, it's flashy nonsense, which is basically what it is, just a bunch of nonsense. Like, ooh, that's cool. But like, if you really think about it,
I was a big fan of Attack of the Clones as a kid. Okay.
I guess there might be an audience for this.
No, I don't know. I don't think listen, some of the action I thought was decent. Like that
Really,
first
the
scene where
action-
the fairies they're fighting.
I agree.
That was it. Though.
That was great. I love how that was shot. But the thing is, I didn't know anything worked. So the fairies were getting sucked up in this time vortex or whatever it was. What happened to them? Were they dying, Angelo?
Know, dude.
Were
I
they-
think they were just placed somewhere else.
I was like, oh, this is cool. The camera movements are cool, right? This is a cool scene. I like this idea. But I
The
don't know
camera
what's
movements were a
happening.
little wild at times. They
I
were
can
obsessed
see
with
that.
just following a character.
But I liked that. I liked that the camera was moving. But
It's like that TikTok
it
thing
is a little
where
overwhelming.
it focuses on one object. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that, but the whole movie. No, I thought the camera was cool. I liked it.
And yeah, I don't know what's happening. And okay, so back to the butler guy that should have died like instantly from being crushed by that giant thing. Like that crushes a person and kills them, right? There was no way they got his body out from there, and he was.
I didn't
dying.
understand that he was even dying until they said, "Oh, you're dying." Like I thought he was
Really?
fine. I thought he was just hurt. No, I thought he was just hurt.
I was like, that guy's so dead.
Yeah, but they bring him out. There's no blood or anything. He seems like he's like of a okay mental
Well,
state.
they're not gonna show blood, Angela. This isn't Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, but like I didn't understand that he was dying.
And then
Maybe
literally-
I'm just dumb.
I was like, he's
maybe I'm too
dying?
dumb for this movie.
He's dying, but like, is he a character? Because what does he do? We know he's a butler that doesn't like to be called butler.
I don't know.
And then he really liked when the dad came back at the end. He was like really happy, which I guess, I mean, yeah, he's his butler. But he like hugged him and picked him up. And I was like, there's a clear connection here. Like he really likes this guy. And that's not suggested at all in the rest of the film. Because he wasn't even introduced until after the dad was gone. And then the dad goes missing. And everyone's like, the news is like, Artemis Fowl is missing and he's a criminal. And it's like, how do you know if the fairies took him? Like, it's like, the kid
I didn't
didn't even
get
know
the
his
whole
dad was
criminal
missing.
part.
Yeah, because his dad was stealing artifacts. But, like, what is Artemis doing? He's not a criminal. But he's like, at the end, he's like, I'm a criminal mastermind. And I'm like, are you? Are you really? A criminal mastermind? Like, I don't think so. The worst thing you did in this movie was, like, bully your, like, school therapist.
Oh wait, that therapist scene was wacky, dude. I was like, "Whoa, this man is kind of crazy, dude." He. I don't even know. I don't even know what is there to say about that. I thought. I don't know, dude. I'm so confused. I thought the elves were somewhat interesting, but everything. You know, my favorite scene, Kevin. It was when Josh Gad was in prison. That was the best scene in the movie.
The
Those-
prison at
the-
the end or the prison with the door? The goblins.
With the goblins, and he
I
murders
agree.
the
I thought
goblin.
that was-
the best scene in the movie, and that was it.
I think Josh Gad actually was probably the best part of the movie. Like, his character was a little weird, and he went from, like, talking like his normal voice, like Olaf, and a weird graveling Batman. Like, he just jumped between those all the time. But I think there was at least, like, some like, there was a personality to his character, and all the other characters lacked personality.
Yeah, I think all the characters were. I think the characters were the worst part.
I don't understand how these elves, these fairies have magic too, yet they seem to be like throwing people out of rockets, and they seem to be using a lot of technology, even though they have magical powers. Right? She literally healed a man with her hands, yet they have to use this like weird thing. And like, time is your thing. How is this kid outsmarting your time machine by this like horseman scientist? How were they able to?
I didn't
destroy it so easily?
understand that part. How like it freezes everyone, but then it doesn't freeze Artemis and Butler.
Well, because Judi Dench's character said, "I want them in the house to be alive."
Yeah, but couldn't they be frozen and
Right, you could
still?
have frozen them, and then. But I guess they had to be.
Wait, why'd
invited
they
in the
want them
house.
alive?
The fairies had to
Why'd
be
they
invited.
want them alive?
Because I guess the fairies had to be invited in the house. But then once you were in the house, you could have frozen them, right? once Judi Dench got in there to negotiate.
I feel like if they just had a conversation, they could have solved a lot of the problems of the movie.
Because were they even on like opposite sides?
Apparently
really was a
not.
hostage
Because at the
situation.
end,
Like, I didn't think at all that's where this movie was going. Like, this was gonna be a hostage movie. Like, Artemis Fowl holds a fairy hostage, and then the fairy army comes, and then him and his butler take them out in a single, like, 2 seconds. Like, really, fairy army? Is this what maybe you should be overrun if this is what
the fairy army sends 6 people to go fight 2 people and loses, and they're like, oh, we're done. Can't do anything else.
Whatever happened to that spy guy?
That spy. The
Nothing.
bad elf.
Yeah.
That's in the sequels, Kevin.
But like he overthrew Judi Dench, and like, did he have authority to do that? No, right? Wasn't she over?
Oh, that was so weird. Because then Judi Dench was like, or no, because it came from the executives or whatever.
Because what I thought was
But then Judi Dench was like, "Oh, you're the captain," and the other guy was just like, "Let the magic happen."
Right. I thought what was gonna happen was there were gonna be like fairy sleeper cells, like certain people that are like pro this villain, like in the fairy community, and we're gonna have like an Order 66, where like if some of the fairies, a majority of the fairies, would just turn and be like, we run the show now. And I was like, oh shoot, here we go.
That happens in episode 3, Revenge of the Fairies.
And then why was Josh Gad narrating this story? Just so you had context.
Yeah, I thought that was a weird choice.
To
I mean,
humans.
I guess there are people were like, this is too confusing. They're like, all right, just add in this Josh Gad talking about the whole movie.
Because it did kind of feel out of place. It felt like it was just added in there.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that was in reshoots.
Right, because there was so much. Like, if you look at the trailers, there was a lot that wasn't in this movie. Like, we need.
Once we're like 50 minutes in and the movie actually starts, I'm like, oh, guess we are in the house the whole time.
Right? I literally was like, because when the fairies were coming and they're like going to take the house because they had this hostage situation, I was like, is this the third act? Because, like, what really is this leading up to? This, right?
Yeah, it was really short,
We need to
and
get
it was like
the original
didn't
Branagh
start until
cut.
45 minutes in.
We need the
original
Branagh
what?
cut.
We need the Branagh cut.
They'll release
Oh
it in
no!
a few months.
On HBO Max only.
Disney's like, dang it. We
The
should start that hashtag, the Branagh cut. Hashtag.
Oh my
hashtag.
God. I can't believe he made this movie. I
Really? Because it actually...
I didn't realize.
It was well directed. In the very beginning, it was well directed. And I was like, ooh, because it was like a crime drama almost. And then nonsense started happening. And we kept introducing characters. We introduced the horseman. And we introduced the weird niece girl that had nothing to do with anything.
Yep.
And then we held the girl hostage. And then they were enemies. And then they became friends. And then Farts McGee with his big mouth snuck into the house. That was so weird too. Like, he opened his mouth and then like it's creative, but it was kind of weird.
I didn't understand the movie, Kevin.
How did it was with a straight face? Did they explain to Josh Gad, like, listen, so what happens is, like, you open your mouth and, like, it's just
that
huge,
was wild.
this huge bottom lip, and you basically, like a gopher, dig a tunnel and, like, poop out the rest of the dirt. And Josh Gad was like, sounds like a plan. That's peak writing right there. This is a A+ movie that Disney just put a bunch of money
Hey, I
into.
mean, it would make sense if the rest of the movie was decent.
I mean, it makes sense that they sent it to Disney+.
Yeah, I think so. I think also, like, the stuff
Okay,
in the
there's
fairy
no
world
way the
was, like,
budget for this
actually...
movie- The budget for this movie was $175 million.
On what?
Like,
The CGI?
like, I think that's a lot for this movie, to be honest.
I think so, too. I think also the CGI wasn't that great.
It wasn't that great. I wonder
Like, I could tell the house was CGI the entire time.
why would they, like... listen, Disney, I don't want to tell you how to run your movie department, but this wasn't a good choice. I don't think. Now, I don't know the books, but in the books, was he a criminal mastermind? From what I know from the books, he was a criminal mastermind.
I think so.
And he's supposed to be almost an anti-hero. Like, he's kind of bad, but you like him anyway. Here, I got, I didn't get he was bad. Like, his dad stole, but, that's not him. Why is this kid a criminal? And he's a criminal mastermind. These fairies sucked. These fairies were bad. How could they not take him on? That was nonsense. I don't know what to say, because half this movie is just nonsense, and we're probably missing, half the movie, but it was just actual nonsense.
Do you think that the house had to be CGI, right? I can't be wrong.
In certain moments. I don't know. It seems like, especially indoor, was a set they built.
Yeah, but, I feel like the outside looked funky the whole time. I could be wrong, though. I'm trying to look it up, but I don't know.
The goblins looked... The hair and makeup was pretty good. I think the goblins were CGI parts, too. But,
Really?
The movie looked good to me. It didn't look... if you had, a freeze frame, it didn't look terrible.
Yeah.
You could convince me it was a TV show.
It was, competently made for the most part.
Right, I agree. I just... None of the characters were... There were too many of them. You could have cut, maybe... I would say 75% of these characters, and the story wouldn't change at all. And it's just, it does it. Why... Okay, why did Artemis Fowl have this butler guy, and every time someone came, he was shoot him. Telling the butler guy, Artemis, come on. You're supposed to be a protagonist. Get up there and shoot people yourself.
I honestly don't even know what else to say about the movie. I thought it was confusing and it was not good, and I think there won't be a sequel.
I don't know. I assume there won't be because they shuffled it over to Disney Plus. But
yeah, it's pretty bad.
And I feel bad for this actor who plays Artemis Fowl because this is his first movie.
Oh.
And you did fine. But it wasn't great.
I feel bad for all the fans too. I know there's so you have so many examples of this happening, right? You have Percy Jackson, you have Avatar: The Last Airbender, these things being adapted and then just being oh,
yeah,
that's not great. And thankfully we're finally getting that what's it called? That Percy Jackson series.
Oh. But Disney's doing that's gonna be Disney Plus, so it might be the same.
Yeah, but I think Rick Riordan's actually writing it.
Good.
Or
get on to
super involved or something like that.
Yeah,
but
I think there's definitely a balance where your talent that wrote the books needs to be involved. Don't give them complete control, because then you'll get a J.K. Rowling situation. But give them some say in what's going on in your movie. Because this was fun. This was a. I gotta say, I wasn't bored. I wasn't entertained, but I wasn't bored.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think it's a very middle of the road, fine movie. I wouldn't say it's as bad. I'd say it's heading towards A Wrinkle in Time, but it's not. It's not Wrinkle in Time. Wrinkle in Time might be the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. It's not there.
Really?
Oh, Angelo.
Wrinkle in Time is the worst movie you've ever seen in your life.
I can somewhat give you a vague plot description of this movie. I can't even give you a plot description of A Wrinkle in Time. I
don't know if I
read the synopsis, and I guess they went to another planet, and I literally was they went to another planet? I thought it was another period of time. Because it was a wrinkle in time. But no, they went to planets. Some kid... I can't even get into it, because it makes no sense. Angelo, we have to watch it. It literally... The movie makes less sense
We'll do a commentary.
On
that and Tomorrowland.
It'll be us being we have to do Tomorrow. I haven't seen Tomorrowland. Have you seen Tomorrowland?
I haven't either. That would be a good commentary.
I think that's what this is. Put this in that category of Disney movie where it's Tomorrowland, Nutcracker in the Four Realms, Wrinkle in Time. You're kind of movies where you get good directors to come onto them, but they don't make any sense.
Yeah. So Kevin, do you have anything else to say about this movie? Honestly, I'm running dry at this point. I got to be honest with you.
I'm running dry. I don't. It's hard to say, like, talk about it because it doesn't really have. There's like, it doesn't make any sense. So what do you want to say? Like, it's whatever. It's not like I was watching it and I was like, ugh, but it wasn't good.
Yeah, it was passable. It was yeah.
I think there's definitely some moments in it where you can watch it and be like, ha ha ha, because it's bad. Like Judi Dench's line. But I mean, other than that, it's kind of bad.
Yeah, it's bad, unfortunately.
I'm so glad I stayed up all night till 3 a.m. to watch it.
To watch this film.
When it aired on Disney Plus at 3 a.m. I'm so glad. That was such a good use of my time. I'm joking, but like, so I think that's it, Angelo.
I think that is it.
If you're listening, watching, whatever you're doing, make sure you subscribe, comment, like, do your thing. You know, let us know. Did you like the movie? Did you like the movie? We would love to hear. Give us your synopsis of the movie. Try to explain to us what happened. Because honestly, I don't know.
Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, rating, comment, review wherever you may be watching this episode.
Yes. And as always, I'm Kevin.
I'm Angelo.
And until next time.
So long, everybody.